everybody. Good morning. I'm probably looking a little rough because it's early in the morning, but welcome back to the channel, man. Hopefully you guys have a great start to your day if it's early in the morning. If not, then hey, man, hopefully your day is going well. If you're in midday, if you're after your day, thank goodness it's at the end of your day, and hopefully your whole day went well. So today, I know I've been telling y'all about an update on, you know, everything that I've got, well, everything I'm trying to get going for the short block. So, like I say, man, your boy I got a ball on the budget, man. So I got to do this stuff in little bitty pieces because everything at this point is gonna be super expensive. You know what I mean? Because I'm not gonna get anything cheap. But then again, I ain't trying to totally destroy the bank. I want good quality parts in there because, you know, I'm talking about the whole motor here. But I'm just give you an update on a few things that's come in so far, and maybe see if I can layman's terms a little teaching. So let's go ahead and focus on the bench and get started with today's video. All right, y'all. So this is what we got here, man. So first is the the gasket kit that finally came in. So let's take a look at this thing and see what's all in here with the gasket kit. So you know, this is all from Subaru. When I got the motor, I got this too, but they had to mail this to me. God dang. And here we go. But dang. It comes with all of the gaskets and the O-rings that you need for the block. Hey, is that like for the throttle body coupling? That's what that kind of looks like. That's the rear main seal. This even has exhaust, valve cover gaskets, and head gaskets. Heck yeah. Don't know if I'm gonna go with these or not, but we'll see. I doubt it, but you know, we might. When we get to we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But that's just to show you that, you know, we got this in. So as far as for where everything goes, whenever when we get to that portion of the motor build, I'll line all of that stuff out then. But this right here is just to show you, you know, what I got that has come in so far for the block. So if you guys are interested in getting this thing, you know, there's the part number right there, and if you need to get it, there it is. Let me move this to the side here. So the other things that have come in. So I got 2 sets of measuring tools that's come in, and like all of this stuff, I'll link it in the description where I got it from. Of course, I got it from Amazon. So let's see what they are, and then we'll dig into one of them, and then maybe we'll try and dig into the other one on another video. But one of the first things we got in here is the bore gauge. It's a bore gauge set. So there we go. But we're gonna need this whenever we're taking the measurements for the as far as for getting the bearing clearance for the rods. So that's kind of where this is going to come in, and it also plays a part in the main bearings. But like I said, I'm still trying to figure out if I'm even wanting to break the case apart. I don't think I want to. I'm just going to leave it the way it is, and I just want to change the rods and rod bearings and the pistons. So there's that. We'll dig into this on another video. So we're going to go ahead and put this thing away. And today, I kind of want to focus on this thing right here. So this is an outside micrometer set. So I got this off of Amazon as well. And there we go. So this is going to be the main thing that we're going to be needing as far as for figuring out our bearing clearances and what we need as far as for the bearing sizes. Shouldn't be too difficult of a thing, just for the simple fact that the block is brand new, so standard bearing should be okay, but we're gonna actually verify and make sure that that is the case. So this set comes with 4 different outside micrometers that we can use. So what I kind of want to get into today is just a how to read these things. So without making this video too boring, you know what I mean, I'm gonna try and simplify this as much as possible. We're gonna try and get straight to the meat and potatoes of figuring out your measurements as far as how to use it and how to take the measurement. When I actually get the rods and the pistons, we'll dig deeper into how we're going to use that with the rods and taking those measurements. So without any further ado, let's get into this thing. Okay, so now let's go over the parts of this micrometer. So this section right here at the end right here, this is called your anvil. And this part right here is your spindle. The main reading area, which is right here at the base, this is your it's called your barrel, and this is your thimble. And this right here at the end is like a ratcheting mechanism. So whenever you bottom out and go to the end, or whatever you're measuring, when it comes to a stop, if you hear that, it'll do that little click, and it's like a ratcheting thing, so that you don't over tighten it and mess up your readings. It gets it just tight enough to where you can take your reading. Once you ever get it locked out to where you need it to be, that's when you use this little locking valve right here, and you just push that down, and it won't allow this to move anymore. That way then, whatever you're trying to take a measurement on, you can just slide it out, and then you can take your readings off of it. Now, one thing you want to do, is make sure that this thing is zeroed out. So if this line, which is your main read line, is not lined up with the line with the zero on your on the thimble, what you're gonna have to do, because this one is pretty much it's lined up perfectly, but if you had to, that's where this comes into play. This little this adjuster wrench. This is how you kind of can help calibrate it. So if you notice on the back end right here, there's a hole right there, and on the wrench there's a little dimple right there. That's what goes into that hole right there, and that's right. And then once you do that, at that point, that's where you can either loosen or tighten this, the way you need to turn it this way, or come the other way and turn it that way. Whatever you need to do to line it up with that zero right there. Once you got that zeroed out, then that makes sure that you'll get some accurate readings. So let's unlock it, and a piece of paper. So just to help it make sense, what I'll do is I'll go over, what you need to do to take your measurement, and then I'll line out how you're supposed to write it out. So we'll take a reading on this wrench. We'll try and get the thickness of the actual handle part of it. So let's you wind that out, and you want to sit your wrench up against the anvil to make sure it's flat. It's kind of hard to do because I'm trying to hold it in the air too. So at that point, then you turn the spindle until it closes down completely on it. Once it does, like I said, you can just turn until you hear that click. At that point, you're good. Then you want to turn your lock to lock it into place, and then at that point, whatever you're measuring, you can kind of slide it out. So now once you slide it out, that's when we get into our actual readings. So like I said, this main line right here is your read line. Okay, so now your read line, in a perfect situation, should line directly up with one of these lines that's on the thimble. Sometimes it's going to be in between. It's going to be a little bit above, a little bit below where you need to be. Now 100% of the time, whenever your read line, like even right now, just because it's gone past the which is this 2,000s, because each one of these readings on the thimble are 1,000. So that's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, and going on and so forth. And it goes all the way up to 24, which this 25 would mean you at your 25,000s. Now, what each revolution of your thimble is going to be a mark on your main on the barrel here. So right here on the barrel, you have your zero. Then you have these three smaller lines in between these longer lines before you get to 1. So that'll be zero, pretty much 0,000s, and then you got 100,000s. That's what that is. So now in between there, you got a 0.25 thousandths for each one of these little 3 increments in between there, and basically from 0, that'll be 0.025 thousandths, and then 0.050. and 0.075 until you get to your whole thousandths, right? If that makes, hopefully that's making sense. You know, if you guys have questions, man, hit me up in the description and I'll see if I can explain it a little bit better. I'm trying to not make this video too long and too boring and hit you with too many terms and stuff like that. I'm trying to simplify this as much as possible just so you can actually get into using these and getting the correct measurement. So right here we're like at, so what our reading is would be 200 thousandths. That's what that would be. So because it's just past the 2000s mark. So now if it was exactly 200 thousandths of an inch, it would be, this main read line would be in line with this 0, but it's a little bit more than that because it's just slightly past it. So how do we write that down? Let's point this camera down a little bit. So how would we write that? That would be 0.2 hundred thousandths. That's how we would write that. So that's your first measurement, right? So that's the 200 thousandths. Let's put this down. So now the next thing we want to look to get the next reading on here is you want to look to your thimble. So now, like I said, in the thimble, it's we got your 0 line, but we're above that, and we're at 1, 2. So just because we're at 2, well, we're at 2. We're pretty much in between 2000s and 3000s. So though we're in the middle and we're just slightly past the 2000s, doesn't mean we need to go up. We're going to always go with the lower number if it's in between. So if it was in between, for example, if it was between 3 and 4, and like right in the middle, you would still hit the 3000s because you want to go below that. You don't want to go above that because then that'll screw up your readings and then you'll be way off. So for this instance, it's closer to the 2000s and it's in the middle of 2 and 3, but you want to pick the lower number. So we're going to go with 2000. So let's see how we write that down. So we're going to do 0.002. So that is how that will be written out. All right, y'all. So my other camera, it kind of cut out on me in the middle of what I was talking about, and I didn't even realize it until I had already got through with that statement. So where we ended off on that other one was, I'm explaining this. Okay, so the readings that we got before was, the first reading was 200 thousandths. The second reading is that we got off the thimble was 2000s. So that's 0.002, and you add those together, and that gets you to 202 thousandths of an inch, right? So the next number, the next scale that we need to read to is the one it's on the barrel as well, but it's called the vernier scale, and it's right here, and that's these little lines over here. So now how that's supposed to work is, what you want to do is you want to find out which one of these lines on these numbers are directly aligned with one of the lines that are on the thimble. So in this case, it's the 2 that's in line with the 4 on here. What you don't want to do is add the 4 to what we have down there. We only using this is not important when it comes to reading off the vernier scale, because you really want to pay attention to these numbers that are on the side here. So seeing as though that lines up with the 4, that means 2 is our number. So that's going to be 2 10,000ths of an inch, right? So how that's written down, in most cases, just to avoid confusion, you would just take that 2. So that first measurement we took, you just add that 2 to it. So once you add the 2 to it, then that'll be your reading. Then this is how you would write it. It'll be 0.0002. That'll be your 2 10,000ths of an inch. And that's how we write it out right there, if you needed to write it out all the way. And that is what would get you your reading. Basically what this means is this is just basically how to read and how to take your measurements and where you need to look to get those measurements. You know, any questions that you have on this, hit me up in the comments, man, and I'll try and figure out a way to break it down to where I'm trying to make this easier to understand and not be too overly complicated, because it's easy to a degree. I know it sounds daunting and all of that stuff, but even then, when you come with this thing, it gives you a list of what everything is and what each thing moves. There are a lot of videos on YouTube about how to read these things, but to try and keep it simple, you know, because I like to use the KISS method, you know what I'm saying? It's keep it simple, stupid. You know, not calling y'all stupid. It's just how the saying goes, man. Just say, just work with me here. But basically, that is how you read these things. So you want to always go from your main read line and just remember, you know, from 0 to 1, you're going from 100,000ths of an inch. And I showed y'all how that's written out. So in a nutshell, that's how you take those readings off of there, and how that correlates to making, you know, as far as for taking our measurements on the rods. We'll go over this again. This video is just basically to show you how to do it. Let me change this camera angle real quick. All right, so like I was saying, hopefully the things that we went over in the video is not too confusing, and I'm hoping that the camera is catching those numbers on here, because they are pretty small. And hey, like I said, we're a small channel, man. Right now I'm working with GoPros, so I'm hoping that this is gonna come out okay. So if it does, cool. If not, then this video is probably not even going to come out, because I got to come up with another way of showing you guys this stuff. But hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something, man, and hopefully it helps. You know, it's trying to figure out how to construct and put this video together was kind of difficult for me, because I'm like, how do you do this? How do you explain it? But you know, it's not hard. It's not that difficult. It's really easy once you get into it, and it'll start to make sense. So whenever I get the rods, we'll pull out the actual factory specs that they want, you know, as far as for bearing clearances on the rods. We'll take the readings off of that, in which that'll give us opportunity to use the bore gauge to be able to figure all of that stuff out, and then we'll take measurements off the crank and all of that stuff as well, as far as for the rod, where the rods go. So like I said, hopefully this video helps, man. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, let you know anytime I put out a video. And your boy will see you on the next video. Peace.